This graph, I think, is probably the single like scariest picture for students in the course, but really all you need to do is just take a deep breath because you already know how this graph works, okay? You've seen this graph, you know how to use this graph, right? We did that in the last video, all right? You know how to use supply and demand. Don't freak out, you know how supply and demand works, okay? Here we've just put both graphs next to each other so that we can understand how firms in this market might behave in the short run and also what will happen in the long run in terms of both the individual firm and the market. So just take a deep breath, we'll walk through this. These graphs really are not as complicated as they look. So in the short run, the firm observes the market price and makes its production decisions. In the short run, the firm observes the price and makes production decisions, okay? In the long run, there is entry or exit until profits equal zero, okay? This is everything you need to know here to solve these problems. The first question has to do with the short run. What is the market equilibrium price for shoes? I guess we're making shoes. You know how to figure this out. What's the market equilibrium price? Supply equals demand. Supply and demand will set the market equilibrium price. All I have to do is look at where supply equals demand, and I've got price is 80. Supply equals demand gives me a price of 80. Not so bad. Now, how many shoes will each firm produce in order to maximize profits in the short run? And how much profit will they earn? Remember, the firm observes the price. Price is 80. I'm going to come over to my marginal cost curve and produce a quantity of 200. And then profit, I'll just write this up here. Profit is price minus average total cost times quantity. So I've got my price already, that's 80. I've got my quantity already, that's 200. I just need to find my average total cost. And to do that, we just come up from 200 to the average total cost curve. And now I gotta go back over here. And I can see that my average total cost is 64. So I can plug that into a calculator, and I've got that profits will be 3,200. I can even label the profit area on my graph. Right? It would be the distance between price and average total cost times quantity. There we go. We've got short run profits. In the long run, now we want to pay attention to entry or exit. So the first question is, what do you predict will happen to the number of firms producing shoes in the long run? Well, profits in the short run were positive, so firms are going to enter the market. In other words, the number of firms in the market will increase in the long run. When the number of firms increases, what's going to happen to our supply equation? It's going to shift out, right? It's going to get bigger. We have more firms, we have more supply, so supply will shift to the right, will shift out, and until profits are equal to zero. So this point here, profits equal zero, that's our long run competitive equilibrium. But we are not asking here about the individual firm. We're asking about what is the equilibrium quantity and price in the market. I know this point gives me my long run competitive equilibrium where profits are equal to 0. That's a price of 60. And supply then I know is going to shift out until it intersects the demand curve, giving us a new market price of 60 so that profits are equal to 0 for the individual firm. So in the market for shoes, in the long run, the equilibrium price will be 60 and the equilibrium quantity here is 25,000 shoes. The way I found that point was to first find my profit equals 0 point on the individual firm graph. That'll tell me my price. Then what I want to do is just look along my demand curve for that price, and that will give me my market equilibrium quantity. Last question is meant to be simple, okay? Not trick, simple. So how many shoes will each individual firm sell? 125 at the profit equals 0 point. And how much profit will they earn? 0, right? 0. In the long run, profit is always equal to 0.